easy sometimes when you just coast along. But like it or not, something always seems to go wrong. Sometimes people build you up just so they can knock you down. Sometimes they will have you there cause they need someone around. Perhaps you'll receive invitations for tea, or perhaps you will laugh and you'll make them all smile. Or maybe you'll join them cause it had to be. Perhaps you'll forget that you forgot for a while. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. 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 Like whippets they dance in a curly-Q dance of pulses and ringing and campfire chants, of ritual drumming, although at first glance you thought you could run, but you won't take a chance. It's not an experience if they can't bring someone along. They hang on emotions they bottle inside. They peck at the ground and they strut out of stride. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside.
Oh, everybody, we are back. It is another episode of Indy Reporter. I am your host, the current face, the current voice of Indy Reporter, Steve Whitmer. That's right. I am very, very much under the weather right now. Ducky in the chat, let's go. Thursday, got Brad's song that he picked. It's Fish, Birds of a Feather. Surprisingly, not that bad, to be honest with you. Man, this will be a short show. I am not feeling good at all. This weather and getting old is not mixed, so I'll be talking about primarily two things. Still be like a half an hour, give or take. And then tomorrow, I'll cover everything that happened at the State House besides that. Mostly because it was a giant mess after this whole thing. And then the Senate really goofed up. They went into recess for a couple of hours. I don't think it was like an hour or two. And then they came back and finished some stuff. There were some things like 199 and they They didn't have concurrence on the immigration bill either for whatever weird reason. So, all right. So everybody kind of knows what happened today, which I've been talking about for the last 2 days. I didn't think it was going to be this big of a deal. Otherwise, you would have posted it up on Twitter yesterday that their house, the Ways and Means, was having a committee meeting about SB 27. I thought it was going to be some like nonchalant, like, hey, we're going to try and do this thing. But it turned into this massive media event because they had an amendment of like actually how they're going to do things. So I was watching it live, just getting pissed off by like every minute because somebody asked me the other day how I felt about it, and I said, well, first off, I don't want taxpayers funding a billions dollar stadium, infrastructure, the stadium itself, everything around it, using innkeeper's tax, food and beverage tax, excise tax, whatever tax there is, because whatever you say is like, well, the taxpayers aren't directly funding it. They are directly funding it when they go over there, because this was talked about with everything above. So not only that, but if we are going to have to deal with that, why are we putting it in a city that has been run to the ground by a shitbag mayor, as in Tom McDermott, who completely talks crap about the Republican Party, completely brags about how great Chicago is. And I think he even talked about like how he has property over there. I'll have to double check. Talked massive crap about Mike Braun. And then what happens? They give him the keys to the castle. They say, oh, the Republicans got so cucked on this whole thing. Is like, you know what? You hate us. You do not define Hoosier values whatsoever, or even public safety, try to make things better for people. No, you know what? We're going to give you a multi-billion-dollar sports team. That was the biggest problem that I had with it, out of by far any of this whole thing. So this greasy slime ball, he was over there talking about it, and then just shilling for Braun. It's like, oh, he did a great job. Houston and Mishler did an amazing job on this too. Can't wait for them to happen. Then we found out that it's probably going to be by Wolf Lake, which, by the way, I want to bring that up. Actually, hold on. Oh, because I do not know where they are going to put it in Wolf Lake. I looked at the map earlier. I was like, well, I haven't been to Hammond in a long time. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time in Hammond when I was living in the region. It was mostly like Sherrville, St. John, Crown Point, Cedar, Tucky, those kind of places. I had family that worked in Whiting at the BP, but like that whole area is crap. And I don't know where they're going to put it either, because I'm imagining a whole bunch of environmental factors that are involved with that too. I mean, I think you have like a golf course, and then I know there's a casino over there too, but like you have the refinery over there. So I'm not exactly sure, unless you're going to like tear everybody's homes apart, but there are refineries over there, especially like BP is a big one. It's like a massive haze 24/7 over there. It's very sad and depressing. By the way, we were not directly funny. Yeah, exactly, Ducky. Yeah. Hey, they're not exactly taking money out of your pocket. You're just having to pay for more stuff whenever you want to go out and eat, or if you want to go out and stay somewhere. In fact, Nikki Callie had an article about it, because when I was listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute, you guys, Lake County already has a beverage and food tax. Ugh, hoping I don't throw up again. So what's the deal? And then they said, oh, well, there's going to be a $2 billion investment too, to the partnership. And I always say, it's like, well, what does that look like exactly? And for how long too? Because we have these data centers, and, Meta just, Braun just said, hey, Meta is going to be coming to Lebanon or at the LEAP project, and they're going to be investing multi-billion dollars. Like, well, what exactly does that mean though? Hey, it's cool to throw numbers out there, but what does that involve with? And so here's what the deets are basically. They're mirroring the exact Lucas Oil. I don't know if exactly, but basically. And they talked about renegotiating the lease of the Indiana toll road. Now, what's really funny is that we have extra money that goes from the toll road. I don't know if you guys remember this. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. I think it was like 2008. They were taking money from the toll road and then giving it to like venture capitalist firms to invest in, which I'm not sure why we're even doing that in the first place. And so they're wanting to take money from the toll road and using it for this project as well. Then on commercial vehicles, it was last amended in 2018 when the state received an additional $1 billion in exchange for a 35% rate hike on commercial vehicles. All right, so glad that Nikki Kelly brought this up because I was trying to figure out. I was like, well, how much money do we still owe on that? All right, so the full bond amount of building Lucas Oil was El Diablo $1 million, according to the state budget agency. An additional $275 million was for the Indianapolis Convention Center upgrades. So about $463 million is still owed on those stadium bonds in a state that has never had to step in and cover the bond service payments. So back in 2008, almost 20 years later, and we almost still a $500 million, almost 20 years later. So how are the bonds going to be paid? The bond basically is a loan. Okay, it's just a fancy way of saying a loan. So Porter and Lake counties would add a 1% food and beverage tax. Hammond would adopt a 12% admission tax for stadium events, and Lake County could double its 5% hotel tax. So everything over in that area would increase automatically. Oh, you want to go to an event? We got to pay an extra 12% on that. Oh, you want to go somewhere to eat and drink? There's another 1% out of that. Oh, what? You want to stay at a hotel in Lake County? Well, we're going to have to pay you 10% of the hotel tax, not the 5%. Yeah, you definitely must have pissed off YouTube. If you're, I'm not deleting any comments right now. That is definitely on you. Polly in the chat, let's go. Polly and Ducky in the chat. Oh man, try not to get too mad, otherwise I start feeling worse. Because I'm going straight to bed after this show. All right, so the deal is not done, okay? There's been a lot of talk of saying the Bears are coming to Hammond, it's coming over. It's like, no, this bill is basically the Indiana saying, we are all in. These are the terms that we are doing. Deal with it or scoot. West of Wolf to the north. West of Wolf Lake parking to the north. See, I'm thinking about going up there this weekend. I want to go check it out because it's right off 41. Because the only thing I could think of is like over here. Like there's commercial over here. So is the city going to have to buy this commercial area? Where are you going to put up parking? And then I started wondering, like, well, where's the train at? Because that's something that McDermott and all of them were talking about. Like, dude, the train doesn't even run through here, does it? It like cuts back into Illinois. I mean, you could always take the highway and all, but special power in the chat. Let's go. But it's all commercial. It's all refinery stuff. Like you're gonna have to buy land. You're gonna have to buy people's like here's the refinery. What do we not understand about this? Like what land are you gonna buy? I don't know. That's what I keep getting confused on. West. Yeah, but they're like the here? Like off the highway? But you have commercial right here. You got a Walmart, which they're not going to take that away. You have retail over here. You got trains over here. I mean, I just don't understand it. It's such a poorly planned. So somebody brought up Festival of Lakes, the U shape. Hold on, let me look that up. Festival of Lakes. Hammond? Oh, the pavilion. So what are they going to do? Fill in all this water? Dude, that would be so insane if they did that. That's wild. Honey, let's take the schooner over to the pavilion. At least they got a nice Sheffield pump station. That work? Like crap. Looks like crap. Anyway. All right, so somebody brought up Porter County. Somebody messaged me and they're like, I can't. So I started bringing up all the stuff I'm about to bring up. They're like, well, what about Porter County? I'm like, I could deal with Porter County because it's more red. Here's the thing that everybody forgets about when they talk about like the Colts and like where they're at. The Colts came to Indianapolis when it wasn't a shithole. All right. Hammond is already a shithole. And now you're going to make it worse. You're going to basically, when McDermott's done, you're going to have a Brandon Johnson or a Tiffany Henyard or a Lori Lightfoot. You're not going to have a Daley, okay? You're not going to have some moderate Democrat run that show. When you bring in the filth, you're going to have a filth that elects more filth. Look at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is the ultimate blueprint of what's to come. Things never get better. They always get worse. When Lori Lightfoot lost the primary, all of us, including yours truly, was like, hey, that doesn't mean things are going to get better. You just brought in someone way worse. I bet people right now are wishing they had Lori Lightfoot, not Brandon Johnson. And that's what's going to happen for next year's mayor race. If Hogsett runs again, I hope he does, to be honest with you, because the people that that want to run are 1,000 times worse than him. But if it's Vop or Mears or Hunley, it's 1,000 times worse. Look at Lawrence. Lawrence is a perfect example. Used to be red, got taken over by a Democrat, and it's been a clusterfuck ever since. Yeah, Mamdani. Yeah, that's exactly what you're gonna get. I mean, that is the ultimate progression. Things never get better in a Democrat city. They always get worse. All right, so going back to the article, like Nikki Kelly says, the deal is not done. You see all these like Benny Johnsons and sports ball people talking about how the Bears are coming to Indiana. Nothing is confirmed yet. There's been nothing that's been written in stone. Here's the funny part, though. Every single one of these people, not just elected officials, but candidates running for office, you have all betrayed my trust. There are certain people that are running against incumbents right now that voted against redistricting, and then they are supporting this. You are my enemy now. I do not like that. And we're going to send people over to help the incumbent. Like over in Northwest Indiana. Forgot what his name is, but like he was supporting, he's like, oh, the region Bears or whatever. Like, why do you think this is a good thing? You're making taxpayers fund the stadium, and it's going into a crap hole town that's run by Tom McDermott.
Minor in scope.
He has to say.
I'd hope that we'd see something to where we ink it finally beyond what we've done so far within a month or two. And these are things that are minor in scope, not major.
I know the Bears have said they're essentially waiting on the State House to make sure that state lawmakers move forward with this plan. How do you know the Bears are serious?
All right, so this is the most important part. Hey, you know how I always talked about how Mike Braun does that glasses thing? This is what I'm talking about.
About moving to Indiana and not just using this as a...
You guys will never unsee it now. All right, so this is what I was trying to point out, is that if we were dealing with them as an honest broker and vice versa. This is good faith conversation according to Mike Braun and all the legislators too, by the way. They're saying, hey, Bears, we are serious. We are figuring out in this bill how we are going to get this thing ready for you. And I haven't gone through the bill. I can't believe I kind of dropped the ball on this thing because I thought it was going to be a nothing burger. It really tends to go that way. Whenever I think something is a nothing burger, it turns into this like massive thing. I'm like, yeah, I've known about this for like a week. Yeah, I mean, Hobart makes way more sense for sure. You can hop on 94. Imagine 94 being done. You could hop on 94 and head into Maryville. Honestly, Maryville would make the most sense. All right. All right, so you see Fraud Kita over here. Oh, wait a minute, this isn't it. Oh, no, this is it. All right, so I'm calling Todd Rokita is officially Fraud Kita. He is a fraud because he is talking about the Fairness Act, which it has to do with immigration. has to do with sanctuary cities. But then what does he do? He goes, hold on. I just saw it earlier today. There's the fairness factor right here. As a proud Hoosier from Munster, I've seen how the Chicago Bears have impacted the culture of Northwest. If this plans to, it should be a tremendous for our state. Unbelievable. That fraud, this is why he is officially Fraud Keita. Cannot trust Todd Rokita anymore. There are certain lines in the sand. And if they are crossed, you cannot trust them ever again. That means like, all right, I still kind of trust you, but I don't fully trust you because I thought that you actually had a brain inside of your head. There's a terrible statement from Rokita, aka Fraud Keita, because he talks about the SAVE Act, right, with immigration and sanctuary city. Well, guess where the Bears are going to go to? They're going to go to Hammond. Hold on, where is it? And here is the mayor, Tom McDermott, talking crap about Tom Homan, about Christy Nome. He says, basically, fuck ICE. He said that he wouldn't let, well, actually, I had it earlier, where he says, I don't want to be around ICE. I would never talk to them. I would never let them dine in the area. And so he has a podcast called Left of Center. And I saw this thing, like, if you guys remember, actually, hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. Right here. I'll never trust anyone who worked for ICE. I'll never hire them, dine with them, or befriend them. These guys were ATF serving a warrant on suspected drug dealers. He's talking about the rumor of ICE back in October. And now Fraud Keita is saying, oh, actually, the Bears coming here is a great idea. Them coming to Hammond is an amazing idea. It's going to be it's going to go to the town, run by a guy who wants Hammond to be a sanctuary city that says, fuck ICE. It says, I'm not going to dine with them. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want Christy Nome being able to take a pee-pee break in any of my bathrooms. But then Rokita is coming out here and saying, oh, this is going to be a great deal. This is what I'm saying. Like the same people that sponsored the immigration bill that still hasn't been signed or gone through Senate and concurrence are the same people that are also sponsoring the Bears coming to Indiana, specifically Hammond, Indiana. These people are frauds. This, you know, and when I saw Kendall talking about this, which I agree with him, but the bigger about him saying is like, oh, Braun can't deal with property taxes or insert blank here, but he cares more about bringing the Bears here and giving them a taxpayer-funded stadium. I agree with that part, but the bigger issue is, hey, we're putting this stadium into a town where their mayor hates us. Like, he hates Republicans. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, he hates Hammond too, because it sounds like he spends more time in Chicago than he does in Hammond. And here we go. Another thing. This was back in 2024. Hammond mayor blames school woes on suburban exodus and lack of state funding. Our education system is in shambles in urban cities. Facing a looming shortfall, the School of City of Hammond has been looking at cost-cutting measures like laying off teachers and closing schools. But then you're going to tell me, hey, you know what? We should put this multi-billion-dollar sports franchise in this guy's city, run by this dope right here. Great idea, Braun. Great idea, legislators. Like, the money thing is one issue, but where it's going is an even bigger issue. And the fact that it's not being talked about is so annoying. Yeah, Hammond is not safe. East Chicago is not safe. Whiting's not safe. That entire area is a shithole. People, and right there's the exact thing. There's the exact evidence of it right there. Nobody's wanting to go to the Hammond schools anymore. They're going somewhere else. That is the first indicator of when your city is turning into a shithole. Fraud Keita. All these legislators that are saying, oh, we're pro ICE. Hey, we're pro trying to take care of this immigration issue. But we're going to put the multi-billion-dollar stadium into a town where the mayor hates, who wants it to be a sanctuary city. You dopes. You absolute dopes. They're all frauds. They're all fake. That's all I'm going to say. Rokita and Braun, and who else is on here? I want to see. I'm making I'm making a list, to be honest with you, to figure out who are. I mean, most of these people are kind of bottom of the barrel anyway. Is Liz Brown on? Hold on, let me look. Freeman on here? Roscoe? Okay. So these are all bottom of the barrel legislators anyway. Like I see Teshka in there. I see Cryberry Pants. Oh no, I'm thinking of the other guy, not Van Natter. Hotsletter. He in there? I forgot how you spell his name. Pressel's in there. Kyle Pierce. Julie McGuire. I mean, it's all like the typical Craig Haggard. Of course, he's in there. Michelle Davis. You know what? I might go shill for Greg Walker since Michelle Davis is on there. Like I said, this is a line in the sand. Of you being okay with a multi-billion-dollar sports franchise with a stadium that is being built by taxpayers going into a shithole blue city, and the mayor hates all of you guys. You know how I've always like joked about how like I'm over here when it comes to awareness, and most of everybody else is down here? Again, with the legislators. Probably, honestly. Yeah. You know, I saw Sackburn talking about that, about the casino thing over in Terre Haute. And he was like, oh, you know, we were able to get all these task forces because we have all this extra money from the casino. Well, the reason why you need them is because of the casino. You have all these degenerates that are making things worse. You have the casino and people are getting addicted to gambling. So now they're going and doing burglaries and insert here. And you're increasing crime. You know, I think the only place that probably hasn't seen an increase in crime is Shelbyville because maybe there is, but because the casino is like in the middle of a cornfield. It's not like in Hammond or Whiting where like it's in an urban area. That's exactly why I don't want a casino in Marion County or in downtown. It's all the worst ones. So true, Ducky. I saw the Beetlejuice thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dying over here. Dying. All right, let's move into the last thing that I wanted to talk about. So, Rip Terry Schultz. This was the guy that was killed yesterday by the Indian truck driver. Now, there are still a lot of questions in the air whether he was illegal or not legal. From my source, he was basically an asylum seeker because of danger of where he was coming from. And then more and more stuff is coming out. I'm gonna let I have my information from a very reliable source, but I'm not gonna publicly say it. I'll wait for like Angela or Hannah Adamson or any of those other people that will report on it. But just to let you know, I already have the mailing address, which I kind of indicated on Twitter today. But so this is what we heard from a direct guy that used to work, actually group of people that reached out to me personally and then gave this information about Terry Schultz. He will be missed during this during his weekly Friday meeting segment. Those running the meeting would be sure to call on him so he could tell some sort of joke or story. It was the highlight of the meeting. Everyone loved it. He was a good guy and he will be missed. I mean, it is a shame where all this stuff is happening more and more. And it's only actually going to get worse. Because now that they're all flooded in, and you have people like Sid Mahant that are running for office and actually wants to lower the minimum requirement to get an Indiana CDL, especially because of non-English learners or those who can't speak English that well. Which I'm hoping that I think it's HB 1200 or something, that it will require all CDL people to know English and be proficient in it, know it, speak it, read, write it, I'm guessing. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that was out there too. Seems to be doing good on reach. All right, so. Oh, yeah, Kendall right here. Lost in all the bears back and forth as the stadium run by Republicans is willing to put billions of dollars. I'm so happy that Kendall caught up to this. I was like, God, I know Kendall's going to feed on it. I just have to get it out there. And now he's doing the research. It's like, yeah, bring the Cubs to Indianapolis. No, the Cubs suck. Fuck the Cubs. And here's the best part. And like one of the things that people aren't talking about, like the NFL had all this woke agenda stuff. Or like, oh, more racism. Oh, go get the jab. Hey, it takes all of us. And then now you're wanting to bring that into Indiana. One sports team is bad enough. We don't need two of them doing the same thing. Yeah, no thanks. All right. This was all right, so since nobody ever watches this show, I'll just tell you guys right now. Actually, oh boy, there are actually some people watching this. All right, so I have the mailing address to the driver of the guy that killed Terry Schultz, and it goes to a place off of US 31 in Indianapolis. And I will tell you right now, I'm not going to publicly put it out there. You guys can all figure it out. It's not. I gave you a massive breadcrumb where you can go figure it out. Here's what's crazy. On the lettering of the building, it has a CPA. It has a truck and trailer repair. Also, it has insurance like Geico on there. So I think they sell insurance. But however, according to InBiz, it's just a transportation place. And in one of the transportation, when I go on search carriers, it has a 28.6% vehicle out of service rate. Which is bad. And also the property card, I was trying to look it up. That's the thing I have not posted yet. Because I do not want to post up somebody's address. But the mailing address of... Okay, so let me go back a little bit. I checked who owns that building. And it's owned by like a Sabda Properties or something. And when I checked the property card out, it's actually owned by a house over in New York. And from what I understand, the city of where that place is in New York, it is a hot spot, like a massive hot spot of fraudulent CDLs. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I mean, I spent all night basically looking up information. That's why I really didn't get a chance to go back and watch some of the meetings because I was so locked in. Also, I talked to somebody last night for a little while, and he got even more crazy information, which I have not. I kind of put out there last night, but I need to actually go over there and investigate because nobody watches this show. Fuck it. Here, let me show you what I got. All right, I'm gonna go live mode right now. Let me look it up. Is it 225? Yeah, 225. South End. Oh, yep. Color Transport. All right, so it's actually in Greenwood. All right, so there's this one, 225 South Emerson. It's a building, so it's not really the biggest deal in the world. Let me show you who owns it. Come on, where's it at? Oh, I have it. Where is it? I know I have it. Hold on. Let me show you guys. I have it on Paint. I'll just show you. All right, so that building, 225 South Emerson, has a bunch of different ones. And check this out. 225 South Emerson, Suite M, has a truck line insurance company. Suite E has a transportation company, a CPA, another CPA, and another a Department of Transportation Service, and another truck line. This is all in the same building, by the way, with different suite numbers. Here is my theory right now, the running theory right now. I think these people are opening up insurance companies so they can get a valid CDL. And not only that, but I don't think it's totally out of the realm that they are committing insurance fraud. Not saying they are, but I think just like Fabio, that I think we have to keep open to the idea that there are some pure shenanigans going on. Because you have a building that has not just one suite, by the way, that has 2 different CPAs. And then in that same building, you have an insurance. It has the same business ID. Here, let me show you my massive thing that I got right now. Oh, and why do I think this is even more weird? Because it's under the cover that has a community physical health and rehab attached to it too. The person that owns that building also has multiple in the actual address. Do I have it here? Or that I'm not. Okay, yeah, here it is. Right there. 5 South Emerson. And here's how crappy it is for InBiz. So it'll show like Emerson Ave, and then you have to, but you also have to do Emerson Avenue, or you see right here where it has like South as an S, Emerson, then you have to do a South Emerson. Look at everything here on the suite too. Keller Transport, another, you got Insurance Corporation. By the way, all in the same suite. 225 South Emerson, Suite E. You have a drug testing site there too. Weird, right? You have an insurance business there. Weird. You have a fleet company there. Weird. You have a transportation company in there. Weird. All in the same suite. Weird. By the way, all owned by Balshar Brar, Star Wars name. Weird, right? Here's the other one too. This is the big one. All of these lead to one house. The businesses are one thing, all right? But the guy who owns all the businesses, they all lead into one house over in Indianapolis. And that one house has 12 different businesses coming out of it, including property, insurance, realty, consulting, another insurance, another consulting, property, transportation, another CPA, another property, all of these, all by Jatinder Singh. Kind of crazy, right? Kind of fishy, as they would say. I'm saying right now that this place actually needs to be investigated. Someone needs to go in there and see if there are actual people in there. I'm wondering if we have another Nick Shirley situation right now. In this time right now. In this, wherever this is, I've been trying to find Suite E. I mean, it's a massive building. It has a bunch of different, sorry, trying not to throw up. It has a bunch of different stuff in there. That's basically what I was looking up last night. It was in there. Another building over here. Yeah. Look at that. Sandhu CPA, also executive home care. That's another one of the buildings that eventually go to that address over in Indianapolis. I'm just saying, I'm not accusing everybody of anything. I'm not saying anything. What I'm pointing out is if things are a little bit weird, just like the whole Fabio situation, right? Hey, it's eyebrow raising. It's things that make you go, and I think it's worthy of doing some investigation, like going in there in the field and just seeing what's over there. I would do it, but not feeling good right now. So yeah, that's basically what I think. That's what got me sick last night. I didn't sleep well, and I stayed up way too late investigating. But yeah, that one place on South Emerson, a drug testing site, an insurance company, a fleet management, a transportation company, all in the same suite. And it goes to this guy. What is it? Daha Properties. That's what it was. And then the deeded owner of that all goes into the one place in Indianapolis. One house in Indianapolis. It's crazy. But anyway, so the plan for tomorrow is I finally get to pick my song for the introductory, and then I will talk about everything else that happened in the State House. I'm gonna probably fall asleep. Actually, guys, probably want to know something kind of depressing. I get home and I just lay on the floor. And I'm like, well, I know the Senate's gonna go back after recess and then talk. And so I think it was like a half hour, an hour, and I'm starting to have a dream about Beckwith. And I was just like, what is going on here? And I wake up and I can hear Beckwith talking because I have my phone next to me, waiting for them to gavel back in. I was like, nightmare fuel, Beckwith. This is how I wake up. This day sucks. Anyway, yeah, I thought you guys thought that might be funny. All right, well, that's it for me. I'm going to try and go to bed and listen to the rest of session. You guys have a good night. Love you guys.